Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, May 12, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Do any of us really know what real freedom is? You know, we get this perspective through past ages on what we perceive as freedom. Like this country, we look at it and say, well, you know, we're free. But what is real freedom for any of us? It is about recognizing how you already are the final word and ultimate authority of your life. Real freedom is about recognizing how you already are the final word and ultimate authority of your life. It's knowing that what you honestly believe is what becomes real. And this is the end truth and final reality. There are over 8 billion different realities on this planet now, right now. And you are one of them. The moment we choose to believe we can be a wild, fully self-expressed, fun-free being is the exact same moment we realize that we already are the absolute final authority of our lives. Now, if you went to somebody and you gave it your best shot to explain what real freedom is about. Now, you can understand now that, after what I just shared with you, that what we believe is freedom is not freedom. The truth is that we are already constantly manifesting everything in our lives. Period. It isn't even a debatable subject. This is how powerful the gods that we are in these minds. Wherever we place our attention for an extended period of time is where our energy flows and what we manifest. We are already one. We always have been. See, we've always that we are one. We have always been one with the great God source. All of us. And it is creating everything around us through us. Our greatest freedom comes from understanding this, truly understanding it, surrendering to this truth, and feeling how it shows up in everything we do. Every action we take in life is an expression and an extension of our consciousness. Whatever you are feeling about yourself and this life in this very now moment is emanating energy out into this world around you. Nothing and no one is separate from each other. Period. We are all impacting each other all the time. By becoming more sensitive to this truth, it becomes obvious how our own limiting beliefs are imprisoning us and stopping us from living this amazing life we were birthed to live. How many people, maybe you, I think, as we mature, the body ages, right? And we experience certain things in this life. We all do. On a continual basis. Some good, not so good, and some bad. But how are many of us literally controlled every day? How does this happen? It is because we allow the behavior of others to destroy our inner peace. How many of us make a decision, right? We make a decision based upon what we believe others, how they will respond to it. The greatest transformations in this life often show up in the most subtle and gentle forms. It is vital that we first see where the prisons exist in our lives. Understand how each one of these prisons is sustained each day. And in order to demolish it from our minds, initially, we may not see the prison walls around us because we are so used to them. These invisible cell bars are all the limiting, skeptical, doubtful, and negative beliefs we carry each day. It is a long, compromising list of constrictive ideas that we tell ourselves who we are and what is impossible to achieve. To give yourself permission to be totally wild and absolutely free starts with finding and releasing every limiting belief which you are clinging to that makes you feel not so expansive and free. Find those heavy negative thoughts which you honestly feel are true and real about yourself, yet also make you feel sick, stuck, heavy, and very unhappy. Let them go, because they are just ideas which no longer serve your greatest good. There's no reason to carry them. Now, this may sound ridiculously simple. Yet when you reach down into the core of you, you will find that the truth is that you are the God source itself, making up all the rules as you go. And that is all there is to it. When you are ready to empower yourself and manifest the most amazing life, you'll discover this truth. And then this life just naturally becomes easier, more magical, amazing. in order to stop being attached to all our limiting beliefs and heavy thoughts. Where do those come from? We all know where they come from, the source of them. You know, when we're babies, right? We're God's in baby bodies, and then the baby body grows or matures. And it's the programming. That's it. It's like a sponge, a dry sponge, right? You take the dry sponge and you put it in a liquid. Now you can't tell the sponge, don't absorb that liquid, don't absorb it, just stay as you are, because it's going to absorb it. It's just like when we're being programmed as young ones into adulthood, and even now. So, in order to stop being attached to all our limiting beliefs and heavy thoughts, we must choose to deeply desire to be free, to feel into our suffering inside in order to let it go. There must be a visceral feeling in the body of the stuckness first in order for the release to be real. Yes, yeah. Some of us have thought that we have released things and, they're gone. Weirdest thing happens, they come flooding back in at times. Then we must continuously step back from it. There must be a visceral feeling in the body of the stuckness first in order for the release to be real. Then we must continuously step back from it and see how every apparently good and bad belief we had about who we are, every apparently good and bad belief we had about who we are, fall into the pile of small, limiting beliefs. We must choose wholeheartedly to leave behind all beliefs to be free. Let go of all of our disappointments, hopes, fears, if we want to truly start living, because attachment to any belief will create some form of future suffering. It's a choice for all of us. Either or. Live life as if everything could end tomorrow. See, and if people go, I don't go there. No. I focus on death, that I'll die. That's no way. We live life as if everything could end tomorrow. Because this is why we talk about gratitude. To be in gratitude 24/7. No matter what's going on, say, you could be in you're by yourself, so to speak. And you're just in a funky mood, right? Now, no one's going to pull you out of this funky mood except you. Now, you can choose to bathe and soak yourself in this funky mood for a long period of time. Not recommended, by the way. Or you could say to yourself, you know what? I have the power right now to throw the switch to a much higher vibrational frequency. And then you start saying to yourself, what am I grateful for in this very moment? Now, it is simple at first. It seems simple. But it seems, to a lot of people, it's not, oh, well, okay. But when you do it, and you do it with your heart-mind, and you keep doing it, the inevitability of high frequency, deep eternal love, happiness, joy, will come flooding in. And you're not doing it for that. You're doing it because you're genuinely grateful. So living as if everything could end tomorrow and also be this eternal spiritual being who knows that nothing could ever destroy us. This is our life. So live it to the max. You don't know exactly how long you're going to be around in that body. This universe has given us what? Right? What if we didn't have a mouth to talk with or to do things with? I know some species that don't have mouths. You have a mouth to smile with and a body to enjoy. Now, some existences are in a body, but it doesn't have all of the wonderful things that these bodies have that we're in. Do not waste a day that you are here on this beautiful planet. Go outside. Live your life totally, fully, and truly. And don't ever try. Do. I invite you to feel what it's like to be totally freed from the good and bad opinions of others. And that's a heavy-duty hit for many of us. Okay, about how we feel about ourselves as we grow, what others say about us and to us as we grow. And when you don't know who, when you don't know who and what you are, you take that in for truth. It affects you long term because you carry it and you embrace it for years, if not lifetimes. What would it be like for you to truly and honestly be free from everyone's thoughts, opinions, and judgments of you? What would that be like for you? No matter what and I don't mean faking it, okay? Oh, it doesn't bother me. I'm talking about truth, truly and deeply. No matter what anyone says, it could be your mom, your dad, or some stranger, right? Could be anyone. It does not reflect in any way who or what you are at all. Instead, you realize that the divine, infinite, spiritual being who you truly are is beyond all thought and concepts completely. What would you call that? Non-attachment to others' opinions of you is one of the most self-loving, natural, and honorable ways we can live each day. This is the golden key that turns the lock to realizing at the core who and what we are is already a powerful, divine, and magnificent spiritual being. This spirit and soul, who we really are in essence, is already always free. Some people look at it as a risk, right? They do. They look at this as a risk. Take the risk to get to know your basic spiritual nature. Feel the essence of your infinite spirit inside. This is something that cannot be contained, imprisoned, or taken away by anything or anyone in the outer world. Period. It's for us to realize this. And when we do, this is real freedom. And this spiritually free feeling is our natural state of being. Most of us are not in our natural state of being. That's why at times we say to ourselves, this doesn't feel right. But then we adapt, right? All exploration and expression from this place is the most loving act we can give to ourselves and others. The full expression of our real spiritual nature is the deepest gift we can give, as it is the greatest honoring of who we truly are. Now, there's a lot of things, right? We have a lot of things in this life, in this now moment, that, we're doing this and thinking this and feeling that on a continual basis, like Grand Central Station in our brains. And a lot of people may think that becoming a wildly liberated human being is not the top priority on their to-do list this week. Yet, if it's not in there somewhere, you definitely and definitively aren't going to enjoy doing anything on that list of yours. Without this wild freedom, your entire life becomes a chore, a burden, and a heavy job that must be accomplished just so that you get your wants and needs met. If you don't stop this nonsense and turn that golden key to unlocking spiritual freedom, you will miss out on the main core purpose of your life, which is to enjoy the short time you are here and alive. Now, see, some of us will enjoy things, right? But we it's okay, so some people will just keep traveling all the time. They'll just travel, going here, going there, going there. And it's an ego mind driven where they have to express that to other people. I've been here, I've been there, I've been here, I've been there, I've been this place, I've been that place. Who cares? It's only for them. It is only by experiencing truth on your own freedom happens. Freedom is the fragrance of the experience of truth. Osho. Now, there's always a practice, right? You practice in order to understand and then apply. So the first basic step to freedom is learning how to continuously let go of what others think of you 24 hours a day. That's not easy for a lot of people, say. It's not. Isn't that amazing? That's not easy to do because we're so conditioned with it. And some of us will get to the point where everything is not taken figuratively, but literally. So this means releasing what you think your immediate friends, family, co-workers, and lovers think about you. Letting that all go, right? Honestly, do you know exactly what goes on in their minds? When you drop what you think their opinions are of you, you can actually release whatever your opinions are about you as well. As long as you are attached to what anyone thinks about you, you'll never be able to be totally free from what your mind thinks, believes, and perceives about you. It's, our minds, it really is a super judger. Yeah, superhuman judger. And it is always judging, comparing, and labeling something, isn't it? It is. Something or someone. Then changing its mind again and again and again, judging again. It is a genius at creating all sorts of fanatical, exaggerated opinions, beliefs, and stories. I often use an analogy. This is a prime example. Is that Mary lives in a neighborhood for 20 years, right? Everybody knows it. It's a small neighborhood. Everybody knows everybody. And so Mary comes out the door on a fall morning, and there's some wetness on the grass, and she slips and falls. Now, she just lightly sprains her ankle, and so she goes to the doctor, and she gets it wrapped. By that night, everybody in the neighborhood believes she's in intensive care in a body cast. You see how that works? Through the mind, it begins creating all sorts of fanatical, exaggerated opinion, beliefs, and stories. This happens on the internet. It happens everywhere. Through the mind as a superhuman judge. When you understand this truth, understanding this truth, it's easy to totally let go of what others think of you, for their opinions will always change. And you see it all the time, don't you? 1 minute, a bunch of people dislike somebody. Oh, they're this, that. The next minute, they're wonderful. Right? Well, I thought you didn't like them. Oh, no, I changed my mind. Changed their mind. I think the mind did that for them. Now, this creates the space inside you to think outside the box. Outside the box. And believe whatever you want to believe about who and what you are. And this spaciousness is the very source of your greatest freedom. To step back from your thoughts. Because you know what? They're all borrowed ideas from other people anyway, aren't they? That's what they really are. Deep down, this life is more humorous and ironic than we realize, isn't it? We are creating all of our suffering and joy all day long, every day. We are responsible for all of it. And the irony is that each day along this lifelong journey, at the very core of our being, is a river of perpetual, loving, creative energy, overflowing with deep, healing peace. We don't have to go anywhere to find it. All we simply need to do is sit, become deeply relaxed in the body, and train the mind to not cling to any thought that arises. It may take some time to relax the body, because, and I've shared this before, when I was a massage therapist, I would have people say that they are just always been relaxed. I would have a counseling session with them and their lifestyle and everything before I would take them on as a client. And it was amazing because they would say, I go, how do you feel today? Oh, I'm pretty much in that groove all the time where I don't feel stressed. No, I don't feel real anxiety. I just feel great. And it's very convincing because the way they say it, it is convincing that because of how they're talking and their body language and everything. But when I got them on the table and I started massaging them, because see, when you have tension, real stress, the body creates congested areas. I call them air bubbles. Okay, there's certain parts of the body, shoulders, back, the different tissues, the feet, the legs. It just depends on where you store it. And how do you know that? Well, when you go over the body and you're massaging it, it releases that. You increase the blood flow and oxygenation in the body naturally. So as you're massaging, that blood flow does increase, and those air pockets, I call them bubbles, that you can feel them disperse. And you can feel the body go, oh, that's so great. Yet, that particular being believed that they were pretty much stress-free. So the point is that we don't know. We're so used to it. We're so used to it. We're so used to so many things that we aren't aware. We don't know. It's not a negative. It's just that we just don't know. So when we sit, become deeply relaxed in the body, train the mind to not cling to any thought, any thought that arises. The key is relaxing the body. Be truly cling-free and deeply find peace. Yet, doing so, you will experience your soul essence and spiritual nature. There is nothing more important that you should be doing with your life. Let that resonate. Very profound understanding, isn't it? The more often you practice being at peace with what arises in that mind, the easier it becomes to experience every ordinary thing in this life as divine. God follows us wherever we go. You can't shake yourself, okay? You can't shake yourself loose from the God that you are. Although people have tried this throughout the ages, whenever the mind clings to something extra important or special, notice this with awareness and don't push it away. Do not label anything as bad, wrong, or a problem. If you do, this in itself will become what's blocking you from feeling an enlightened, liberated state. Welcome all thoughts with great curiosity and explore what is beneath each one. You'll see that there is nothing there. Really isn't. Each thought is recycled information gifted from the outer world that we shouldn't take personally at all. And yet so many of us, so many, are deeply affected throughout this life on what people think, say, and do about us. When you want to get down to the core of you, ask yourself some deep personal questions. What hole inside you are you trying to fill? One could be, I hear this all the time, lonely, that they don't like being alone. This is a hole? What hole inside you are you trying to fill? Where do you feel trapped in your life, and why? Write down these questions and your answers. It's important to do that. Make this a 20-minute enlightening exercise that gently opens the door to your soul. When you discover where you feel trapped and empty, you'll see why you're clinging to those things that you cannot let go of. This understanding is the most important next step of your wild journey coming ahead. The real battle is won when we see that there are no real enemies out there, and that the only real enemy, the imaginary one, within our own mind. This realization is the sacred path to our enlightenment and finding our inner wildness within is the bridge back to our spiritual essence, simply because our spiritual nature is wild, free, and untamable. And expressing this wild spirit within ourselves awakens us from the almighty ego trip we are on. It unlocks the door so that we can step into the vast universe and deeply take care of our wounded selves in the most sensitive, loving, and healing ways. When we discover this connection to our real spiritual nature, we instantly see how every human being is a soul and a spiritual gift to our lives as well. From this place, Each being we encounter becomes the source of more love, joy, and inner peace in our lives. When we give ourselves permission to feel spiritually connected, when amongst others, we truly become the wild, unstoppable, free being we were born to be. We no longer feel wounded, avoid others, or resist letting ourselves be nourished and loved. We start embracing the divinity that we all actually are. And the more we practice feeling into this spiritual connection, the better this life feels, and the more real our divinity becomes. Understanding that you are a spiritual being, you realize there is nobody to fight with or against anymore. You see everyone as your friend and greatest teacher. When we can, and we will, live 24 hours, one day, knowing we are all sacred, divine, spiritual beings that will never, ever, ever die, we will stop suffering completely. The fight will end with others and within ourselves. We can all then realize together that we are the ultimate authority of our individual realities, the ultimate authority of our individual realities, and capable of creating heaven any moment we want to on this earth. Meditation is a listening with a receptive heart. Buddha. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us up. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Rushing is an act of violence to your soul. The ego is impatient because it does not know your infinite eternal nature. Your soul, however, is infinitely patient because it always knows there's no end to life. And you will live on and on forever and ever and ever. So why are you hurrying through your life? When you rush, you always miss out on the beauty and the miracle of this life. That which you were seeking so desperately for is found in this journey and not at the finish line. When you stop pushing the river and embrace each new moment, you'll find the great river of life will always, effortlessly carry you. Enjoy. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We will return here Monday, May 13, 2024, till after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on inside you or outside you, and enjoy the magic